There are a couple of ways of attacking wireless clients that actually make use of the way that wireless clients behave. The first one is a little bit more problematic because it does rely on something that Wi Fi clients actually do on a pretty regular basis. This is more true of Apple devices than other devices just because Apple devices tend to be more chatty than others. And what happens with this is you actually get a case where your system is actually broadcasting for all of the network names that it knows. So I've got a long list of various networks that I have attached to in the past, and my device here may actually start attempting to beacon out looking for those. So, a good way to attack those particular clients is you actually respond on behalf of the access point that isn't actually there because you're just seeing somebody looking for an access point that doesn't actually exist. So the other attack is sometimes called evil twin, and that's where you've got a device that is replying really on behalf of another one, where maybe the rogue device is actually transmitting with higher power. So we've got a set of programs called the Wireless Attack Toolkit, and I'm running this on a Raspberry Pi. And the Raspberry Pi actually has a nice little package created for the Wireless Attack Toolkit. And you can use this to make sure that your wireless clients aren't susceptible to these particular types of attacks. So I'm going to start up the program here. What I've done is I've actually downloaded this and I have built it already. So I am going to just start it up. And I'm going to say the name of my LAN interface is going to be ETH0. The name of my secondary WLAN interface, I don't actually have this, so I'm going to leave that alone. Now I can pick an attack mode here. What I want to do is I'm actually going to pick the passive mode, that is free Wi-Fi options for landing page attacks. So what happens in this particular mode is you actually start responding on behalf of other devices and you start feeding information to these clients to make it look like they're actually attached to the network and they are getting places where they don't actually want to be. So I'm feeding them pages, or maybe I'm doing DNS attacks where I'm giving them IP addresses that don't really belong to the websites they are actually trying to connect to. So I've got this in attack mode here, and you can't actually see the console that I'm looking at. I'm looking at some messages that have popped up on the console that suggest that some things have actually happened on the Raspberry Pi. We've got the Raspberry Pi now in a mode where it's actually going to be responding to different wireless networks for us. And it's a very small device. It's very low cost. The card itself, without anything else, is about $30. And it will run a version of Linux. In this case, I happen to be running Kali Linux. But there are other versions of Linux like Debian that will run quite nicely on the Raspberry Pi. And so what you've got is a very small device that you can carry around with you and perform this wireless testing and make sure that you don't have clients that are leaking information. By clients, I mean devices like iPhones or laptops or various tablets, and they aren't leaking information to potential attackers. So you can use the Wireless Attack Toolkit to determine the types of information leaks that may be going on with the devices that are on your network or in your area.